Lake Victoria. One of the Great Lakes of Africa is Lake Victoria, with around 59,947 square kilometers surface area. Lake Victoria is the largest lake in Africa by surface area, the largest lake in a tropical region of the world, and the second largest freshwater lake in the world by surface area, behind Lake Superior in North America. With a capacity of 2,424 cubic kilometers, Lake Victoria is the ninth largest continental lake in the world. In Africa, Lake Victoria is located in a small depression. The lake's maximum depth is 80 to 84 meters, and its average depth is 40 meters. The lake's shoreline measures 7,142 kilometers with islands making up the majority of it. Three nations share the lake's area. Kenya takes up 6%, Uganda takes up 45%, and Tanzania takes up 49%. Despite having several native names, Doluo, Namlalawe, Luganda, Nalubael, Kinyarwanda, Nyanza, as well as Ukerewe, the lake was dubbed after Queen Victoria by the explorer John Hanning Speke, who was the first Briton to record it in 1858 while on an expedition with Richard Francis Burton. Many fish species, particularly cichlids, that are found nowhere else reside in the lake. Many endemic species have perished due to invasive fish, such the Nile perch. 80% of the water in Lake Victoria comes from direct rainfall. In addition, thousands of little streams and rivers supply water to Lake Victoria. The largest river entering this lake, with its mouth on the western bank, is the Kagera River, which originates in either Rwanda or Burundi. Only the Nile River, which flows close to Jinja, Uganda, on the lake's northern shore, drains Lake Victoria. The Sio, Nzoia, Yala, Nyando, Sundu Miriu, Mogasi, and Migori rivers have the largest influences on the Kenya sector. Up until it reaches Lake Albert, the uppermost portion of the Nile is referred to as the Victoria Nile, although it is occasionally referred to as the White Nile and is a member of that river system. Given its extensive geographic area, the lake is regarded as being shallow. The lake is generally shallower towards the west along the Ugandan beach and the south along the Tanzanian shoreline. The deepest portion of the lake is offset to the east of the lake near Kenya. Wildlife. Mammals. The area around Lake Victoria is home to a wide variety of animal species, some of which are intimately related to the lake and the neighboring wetlands. Hippopotami, African clawless otter, spotted-necked otter, marsh mongoose, sitatunga, bohor reedbuck, Difasa waterbuck, cane rats, and gigantic otter shrew are a few of these. Reptiles. Nile crocodiles, African helmeted turtles, variable mud turtles, and Williams mud turtles are all abundant in Lake Victoria's wetlands. Only the Lake Victoria and adjacent lakes, rivers, and marshes in the Upper Nile Basin are home to the Williams mud turtle. Cichlid fish. A large majority of the fish in Lake Victoria that were once abundant, including many indigenous species, have gone extinct over the past 50 years. The haplochromine cichlids are the dominant group in Lake Victoria. There are more than 500 species of them, almost all of which are endemic, and 300 of them are thought to be undiscovered. With the exception of Lake Malawi, this lake has more fish species than any other lake in the world. Crustaceans. From Lake Victoria, 4 varieties of freshwater crabs have been identified: Potamonots niloticus, which is common in the lake, and P. amini, which has been observed in Tanzania near Bukoba, are both also found elsewhere in Africa. The only shrimp or prawn found in Lake Victoria is Caridina nilotica, which is plentiful and abundant. Mollusks. 28 species of freshwater snails can be found in Lake Victoria, including Bellamia, Biomphalaria, Bulinus, Cleopatra, Gabiella, and Melanoides. There are perhaps still snail species that haven't been named. The parasite that causes bilharzia is an intermediate host in 2 of the snail genera, Biomphalaria and Bulinus, schistosomiasis. At Lake Victoria, this parasite frequently infects humans. Spiders. A species of jumping spider called Avaricula silvera is unique to the areas of Kenya and Uganda that border Lake Victoria. It mostly feeds on female mosquitoes. The largest inland fishery in Africa was supported by Lake Victoria as of 1997. Initially, the fishery involved native species, especially tilapia and haplochromine cichlids. Due to overfishing, some of these species had already started to decline in the first part of the 20th century. In the 1950s, many non-native tilapia species and Nile perch were imported to the lake to improve fishing. Ecological concerns. Invasive fish. Numerous species that were brought to Lake Victoria beginning in the 1950s have since grown invasive and are mostly to blame for the demise of numerous endemic haplochromine cichlids. To enhance the lake's fisheries, it was suggested to import a sizable pelagic predator, such as the Nile perch. Invasion by water hyacinths. In Lake Victoria, the water hyacinth has become a significant invasive plant species. Huge development of exotic water hyacinth was sparked by the release of large amounts of untreated sewage and agricultural and industrial runoff directly into the lake over the past 30 years. This invasive weed increases the toxicity and disease levels for both fish and people. In addition, the plant's web or mat makes it difficult for boats and ferries to maneuver, prevents access to the shoreline, hinders the production of hydroelectric power, and blocks sunlight. Pollution. The main causes of Lake Victoria pollution include agriculture, fertilizer and chemical runoff, domestic and industrial garbage dumped there, and raw sewage outflow. Victoria serves as the primary source of water for many towns and cities, as well as for farming and other purposes. The Lamadi Water System is a water and sanitation project that provides services to Nyanza and the Lake Victoria shoreline satellite towns of Lamadi, Misungwi, Magu, Bukoba, and Musoma. The project was initiated in 2013 by the European Investment Bank with the intention of improving the water and sanitation in the cities whose pollution contributes to the lake's degradation. The project seeks to offer improved sanitation and safe drinking water. Sand serves as a sieve to filter out suspended particles and sediment. The water is then prepared for chlorination or other types of treatment. Sand filtration lessens the prevalence of waterborne illnesses. Ferries across Lake Victoria have been a crucial mode of transportation between Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda since the early 1900s. Kisumu, Mwanza, Bukoba, Entebbe, Port Bell, and Jinja are the principal ports on the lake. The MV Victoria, the fastest and most modern ferry, was classified as a Royal Mail ship until 1963. With the debut of MV Uhuru and MV Umoja in 1966, train ferry services between Kenya and Tanzania were started. One of Africa's biggest maritime tragedies occurred on May 21, 1996, when the ferry MV Bukoba drowned in the lake, killing between 800 and 1,000 people. On September 20, 2018, a different incident involving the passenger ferry MV Nyerere from Tanzania resulted in the deaths of nearly 200 persons.